Curry, no. Klay Thompson, no. LeBron James, nah. Lonnie Walker IV is the hero as the Lakers take a 3-1 lead. Also, the Knicks are not serious. The Heat are serious enough. And Nikola Jokic will not be suspended. Plus, I want to make Tony rant about the all-rookie selections. All that and more on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA, your daily source for all things NBA from the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making this your first listen. We appreciate you guys joining us on whatever platform that you choose, whether you're catching the show on YouTube or you can view a video version of the show with all of my gestures and facial expressions. And Tony's trying to stay up at 1 o'clock Eastern in Indiana. You can also catch us on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review. Catch us on Spotify. I don't even know what's the review process for Spotify, whatever it is. Like, I think it's just like you do the whole heart thing. Do that on Spotify if you want to. We appreciate you guys making us part of your day. Today's show is brought to you by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Check out the Gametime app. My name is Matt Moore. I'm a senior NBA writer for the Action Network and the co-host of Locked On Nuggets. I'm joined by Tony East. He is host of Locked On Pacers. You can catch all of his great work. I need to update your graphic down there because you're no longer at T East NBA. Really annoyed because I keep searching for you on T East NBA. He is now at Tony R East on Twitter because he decided he's too prolific to be contained by just talking about the NBA. Tony, we're going to start. We'll get to a lot of things tonight. Second segment, we'll talk Heat Knicks. Third segment, we're going to get into Nikola Jokic not being suspended, and we'll do all rookie teams. We'll start, obviously, with a big headline, which is the Lakers storm back in Game 4 and take a commanding 3-1 series lead versus the Golden State Warriors. They win 104-101, trailed for the majority of this game, would tie it. Warriors get separation, tie it. Warriors get separation. Warriors had a lot of opportunities in the third quarter, couldn't get separation. And then in the fourth, Lonnie Walker IV with 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting, nice, 1 of 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a +8 in a game where LeBron James goes 10 of 25. He had 27 points on 25 shots. Anthony Davis only goes for 23, though he was 10 of 16 from the field with 15 rebounds and 3 steals. Austin Reeves does give them a really big boost with 21 points, but it was Walker down the stretch out-dueling Steph Curry, who went for a triple-double with 31 points, 10 rebounds, 14 dimes. The last dime coming on an absolutely beautiful no-look pass underneath, but that was the last assist that he had. Curry goes for 31 points on 30 shots, 12 of 30. For Steph Curry. Your reaction to the Lakers win over the Warriors in Game 4?
Yeah, I have a lot of them. I have a lot of them, right? And you like AD had so many sick plays. Steph had a triple-double. LeBron figured it out in the fourth. There's a lot of reasons to talk about the stars, but I'm inclined to do what you did to lead the show off and talk about the not stars because Lonnie Walker was ridiculous in the fourth quarter. The Lakers were calling guys up to screen for Lonnie Walker. Sometimes that was because Steph was guarding it, but sometimes it wasn't because Steph was guarding it. It was just that he was that lethal with the ball in that quarter, including a like putting air back into the building 20-footer off the dribble that I was like, why is Lonnie Walker shooting that shot? Oh my God, he made it. This is amazing. And I hate to dumb this down, but just like, you know, the stars were the stars. They had rocky and good nights, and most of their plus minuses were like close to even-ish. But Lonnie Walker was so good in the fourth, whereas on the Warriors role player side, they switch in and start Gary Payton. He was pretty good, but he got hurt early and missed chunks of this game. When JaMychal Green came in for him, terrible chunk of minutes there. DiVincenzo gave him some good minutes off the bench, but Poole wasn't very good. Moody was hitting his shots, but wasn't quite effective enough, and Looney only played 11 minutes. Like, Lonnie Walker being that good for that long was the difference in this game for so many reasons. He was the best role player who stepped up when it was needed. If the Warriors could have gotten that from anybody for even like 2 extra minutes, they could have won this game. The margins were razor thin, but they didn't get it, and Lonnie Walker gave it to him.
I thought Moses Moody was really good.
He was.
So like, there's a whole chess match being played out here, and it's really fascinating, and we're seeing this in the other Western Conference series as well. So Kerr does pull JaMychal Green, and he starts Gary Payton, and they do that so they can't hide Anthony Davis on JaMychal Green anymore, which gets him involved in more pick and rolls, and they really were successful with it. And the other thing is that Payton is able to basically neutralize D'Angelo Russell. Like, Russell played in this game 31 minutes, but look at the other starters: 34 for Reeves, 43 for Davis, 43 for LeBron. Vanderbilt goes for 11 because they
Schroeder's the last starter.
Schroeder's the last starter. Effectively 34 minutes. He stops playing Russell. So Kerr wins this battle, and he plays Russell off the floor. But to do so, they lose size, and they don't necessarily replace it with scoring with Gary Payton, who, like you said, got hurt, only played 23 minutes, but was 7 of 9. They do get some scoring from him. He has in 15 points in his 23 minutes. So then they have to go to Moody, and Moody does give them 7 points and was a +2. Like, they won his minutes. He was good. But the problem, honestly, to me, was that, like, the stars weren't good enough. Like, this Warriors team is not strength in numbers. It's the opposite. It's weakness in numbers. Like, the deeper you go, the worse it gets for them. You can't have a game when you're in a must-win spot. You can't have a game where Steph Curry, when Steph Curry's on the floor and you only outscore opponents by 1. The Warriors not going to, like, that's going to change. The Warriors are going home in 5. Like, they got to change that now. They got to win those minutes, and they got to win them significantly. And not being able to win those minutes was honestly, like, that's what makes this, I think, worse. Is like, LeBron wasn't legendary here. Like, 27-9-6 for the man is just like a normal night at the office in 43 minutes. He was -8. They got torched when he was in there. Like, he was on the floor for a lot of bad runs and couldn't hit anything. Davis didn't dominate, and the Warriors still lost after having the lead. All the Warriors that we've known in their time were always the team that they always hit that dagger shot. They always got ahead. They always made the right play. And instead, they have a turnover. And then Steph, like, on a loose ball, just like throws the ball up in the air out of desperation because the clock's going to run out. Second time in 2 series, we've had like a late game failure involving Steph. It's wild stuff. Like, my big takeaway, honestly, Tony, is like, give the Lakers credit. Lonnie Walker stepped up. Their defense continues to be great. This is not the same Warriors team that we have known. And I think everyone needs to really understand how far away this Warriors team is from the team that won 4 titles in 7 years.
Where's Sean Livingston? Like, that's kind of what it feels like, where it's like Moody doesn't miss and Payton does all this stuff. And I still, like I led with, like, didn't feel like the role players were good enough. And you said they don't have the depth because they don't. And a big part of this is like, do they need anything from Jordan Poole? Anything. And he is giving them nothing. He can't make anything. Turnovers. The defense is less than 0. At this stage, they can't play him. He only played more than one other bench player for the Warriors. And that was JaMychal Green, who was only in because Gary Payton was temporarily in the locker room. Like, they're getting nothing from a guy that they invested in thinking he could be something for them. And that is huge. And yes, the star battle was fascinating, and we have to talk about their plays. Like, yeah, LeBron didn't have the forcefulness, but he finally figured some stuff out in the fourth, some nice post-ups, some aggressive attacks. Yeah. Anthony Davis in the fourth wasn't touching the ball as much as I liked. Like, if this game had gone the other way, I would have said, why did they stop giving Anthony Davis the ball? But then had his Kevin Love moment. Is that fair to say? And ISO D'd up Steph Curry twice in the final minute to maybe not quite seal the win, I guess, but effectively seal the win. Whereas on the Warriors star side, Clay was taking some questionable is too nice. Like, just what are you doing level shots? Yeah. Steph couldn't get him to go. Draymond turned it over on a hammer play against Darvin Ham, running a hammer play against Darvin Ham. Not the best choice ever. Didn't quite work, and they didn't get enough. One team star stepped up late. The other teams fell very flat in those moments.
Draymond's plus minus was bad, but I thought Draymond actually played really well in this
Agreed.
game. A lot of it was just like his numbers got destroyed from a plus minus. Like they lost the minutes when he was on the floor with Poole. Like that's really what happened. Which is why like he winds up with a -10. It's I will say this, like they need to go back to what they did versus the Kings. And I think they need to put Draymond off the bench again. Because I legitimately think they need Looney on the floor versus Davis and to stagger that rotation. Because like Looney only plays 10:53 tonight, chips in 4 points and 3 rebounds in 11 minutes and is a +7. It's not that like, oh, he was a +7 playing more. It's that if you look at the numbers in the series, and if you actually just go back and watch, just if you can, go back and click on NBA.com and go watch every single Davis shot. You can do it. If you click on Davis's games and his stat profile, just click on it. You can watch them all. You're going to notice that Kevon Looney forces more misses than anybody else. Like that is the only guy that gets into a space. Draymond can't beat Davis. Like it's just not working. And so like they need to go probably to Looney. And if Peyton can go, Peyton and be able to try and win that. Rui asked in the chat, wasn't Looney getting cooked by AD's mobility? I mean, yes, but I think here's the thing is just like, if they're going to beat you with Anthony Davis moves for fadeaways most often, like you're gonna have to get like, again, this is that the Warriors don't have, they used to have like ideal situations like for 7 years, the Warriors, and whenever they were in a playoff environment, it was like, we're gonna take away what you do well, and we're gonna make you do well, and like they just can't do this. Like they gotta live with some stuff and just like hope they can get some shots. I'll ask you this before we get a break, Tony. Do you think that the good Klay Thompson returns? Do you think the Warriors get out of Game 5 and extend the series?
Yeah, I think they can and will win Game 5. They kind of have to hope the corgi is right. Have you seen the video of the corgi dog booping the ball in on the stairs to predict every series? It had the Lakers up 3-1 and then picked the Warriors win. I think they can, and I think Klay's a big part of it, right? I was nice saying his shots were questionable late, but he was not very good in this game on the offensive end and tried to be the hero late. And if he's even a little bit better, they had enough in this game. But if Davis is a little better or LeBron's a little better, the Lakers would look good too. So I think the Warriors win 5, and 6 is where things get a little dicey for them.
I'm going to go the other way. I think they're done. I think this is it. I think finally the Warriors are going to lose a Western Conference playoff series, which they've never done.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Like I can't even say it. It's May 9th. Like I just can't be like, oh, the Warriors, it's over. Like I can't.
Yeah, well, that's crazy because it's like I like the Warriors in the series. I like them to win the series when it started, and so I'm completely flipping. And the reason I'm completely flipping is just it's been based off of like, well, the Warriors will eventually be the Warriors again, like they were in that Kings series, and maybe they do. Maybe in the last 3 games consecutively, they're the Warriors, but this doesn't look, they haven't looked like the Warriors all year. They haven't looked like, it's a combination of the starters are not who they used to be and the bench isn't who they used to be. So we'll see what happens in Game 5. On the other side, we'll talk about the Miami Heat getting the win over the New York Knicks to go up 3-1. We'll do that when we return. First, I need to tell you about Gametime. The Gametime app is the absolute best place for you to get last-minute tickets on anything that you want to go to. Football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy. There's a bunch of women comedians that are coming to my town in the fall. I'm very excited to go see them. I'm going to be using the Gametime app because I got to make sure I can go. I don't know until late. That's what Gametime is great for, is finding those tickets late. The Gametime guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Tickets are sent directly to your phone. You never have to dig through your email, and you get to buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We'll be right back. Locked On NBA. Back here on Locked On NBA, Tony East joining me, Matt Moore, talking about the NBA playoffs from Monday night. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. Tony, in the other game, in what I refer to as the series that the NBA forgot, because nobody really has much to say about the series, despite it being 2 major markets with a lot of history. Miami Heat get the win over the Knicks, 109-101. Jimmy Butler goes for 27 points on 9 of 17 shooting, adds 6 rebounds and 10 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Just all of the Jimmy Butler things in this game. 23 points for Bam Adebayo alongside 13 rebounds. The Heat were really good on the offensive glass in this game, 13-8. Cleveland Cavaliers, pay attention. All you have to do is try. Not that complicated. Just try, and you could beat the Knicks. Gabe Vincent did not have a good game, but Max Strus added in 16 points, on 4 of 10 shooting. The Knicks got a really good game from RJ Barrett, 24 points on 9 of 16 shooting. Like, RJ's has acquitted himself pretty well. Jalen Brunson goes for 32 on 10 of 21 alongside 11 assists in this game, but it doesn't matter. A good way to kind of look at this is every Heat player won their minutes. They were all plus. They won their minutes when they were on the floor. All of them. For the Knicks, the only players that did not lose their minutes were Mitchell Robinson, who played 33 minutes, was a +1. And that's it. Everyone else lost their minutes. What was your big takeaway from Heat Knicks in the, wow, these two teams are really, one of these teams is going to make the conference finals series in the East?
I was actually going to bring up the all pluses on the Heat side. That's the most Eric Spoelstra thing ever, right? Like, he just is like, oh, these 5 guys will work. This is good. You know who's a big winner tonight, Matt?
Who?
The NBA play-in tournament. Seeing the Lakers and Heat go up 3-1 in second round series is crazy given where these teams were even 4 weeks ago. But yeah, the Heat won the possession game, right? And that's something the Knicks have been doing really well this postseason. The Heat won on the offensive glass and had fewer turnovers in this game. So, you know, I think of them a little bit as a free throw team. Despite taking 2 fewer free throws than the Knicks, they took 9 more shots in an 8-point game. That's exceedingly significant. That's kind of been a story of this postseason in general. I think more people are kind of in tune with that being a strategy. Memphis really went for it last year. Now a lot more teams are going for it, and it's been a bigger thing. And it was huge for the Heat in this game, who weren't like particularly efficient in this game. They actually shot worse from the field than the Knicks, but that extra volume was significant. And some of that was the offensive glass. Some of that was just who they had out there doing well. And their defense was really solid. And this has also been an awesome series for me, an IU guy, because Cody Zeller's back in the NBA and somehow giving the Heat serviceable minutes in each half, which is great. People who are losing hair have to be happy about that. But you know, this is just like a very Heat win, like a very Heat playoffs. It feels like every single game. It's like they, you know what they're gonna do, you know how they want to try to do it, and they can still do it because Eric Spoelstra can slightly change the lineup or slightly change the process to make it happen, and their defense is just going to be so good that it's going to be enough for them to be ahead.
So this is like a really good game on both ends. This, like, the score 109-108 doesn't really 109-101 doesn't really reflect. And like a lot of people said this on the timeline tonight on Twitter, that this felt like the most dominant 6-point lead.
I agree.
It was never.
Yeah.
Like it got to 6, and it was like, hey, maybe the Knicks. No, and I'm just like, I'll be really honest. Is like, it's not that the Heat aren't impressive. They knocked off the 1 seed. Jimmy's the man. Jimmy's him. Jimmy's the dude. Bam's playing really great. You know, Bam Adebayo's had some playoff moments where he's really disappeared, and he has stepped up and been the best big in the series, which he should be. Why are the Knicks here? Like, why are the Knicks here? I just part of the problem is that the Knicks were like the number 2 offense in the regular season. They were really good. They spread the ball and they created a lot, but like so much of the Knicks formula was just basically Jalen Brunson, who played really well tonight, and then like hustle boards. We're gonna get all the offensive rebounds and like those kind of things. And it's just like that shouldn't win you a series. Again, I want to stress. I want to stress that JB Bickerstaff is still a coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like that's still a thing. Like, how do you watch this series and then go like, yeah, no, man, what a tough break. The Knicks, I think, trying to get back into the series, I think it's gonna be a real challenge because I don't like. This is a very ephemeral thing. I don't see a lot of belief in them. Like that, the Heat have done what they do. Heat have done to so many teams, including the Milwaukee Bucks, might have, by the way, which is like just demoralize them.
Yeah.
Like the second half, like the Knicks were like, maybe we can get and it's just so frustrating to play against them because they're so fundamentally sound. The Heat have won games in these playoffs where they've just shot the lights out. They've won games in these playoffs where they've just played great defense. Tonight they played good defense, had good offense, and that was enough. And now the Heat are 1 win away from their third conference finals appearance in 4 seasons. The only one that they missed was after the shortened offseason coming out of the bubble. That's it. Other than that, 3 out of 4. That's incredible. That's a really strong. Now, like, the Celtics have a very good chance of making it as well, and they've been on a good run, right? So, like, there's lots of teams that have been successful in this stretch, but what Miami has done without like a loaded roster with guys, again, Kyle Lowry's coming off the bench. That was their big free agency acquisition a couple of years ago, was Kyle Lowry, and he's coming off the bench and playing great, by the way, since he didn't play almost at all in the regular season. 15 points tonight for Lowry. 4 of 6 shooting alongside 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Like Kevin Love, they just like threw him in there. Now he's starting. They're getting, you mentioned Cody Zeller. Caleb Martin is giving them good minutes.
Yep.
Like it's like Max Strus, Gabe Vincent are starting for this team alongside a guy they picked up at the deadline. And the Heat are about to go to the conference finals. Eric Spoelstra, there is not enough good things you can say about Spo or Jimmy Butler. We just can't say enough good things.
What can I say? Me and Eric Spoelstra have the same number of Coach of the Year victories in our lifetime. So I think that's kind of an injustice if you have to put that on him. Look, the fourth quarter is honestly a good representation of how frustrating it has to be to play the Heat, right? For 21 seconds, the Heat led by 11. Other than that, the score lead was between 6 and 10 the entire quarter. They could never get it closer than 6, but it was always right in reach because the Heat just slowly but surely grind you down over and over again, and it's so frustrating and demoralizing. And the Bucks found it out too. And now we're kind of past to the just like, oh, they got really hot for one series and they beat the Bucks. Like, no, they're just playing really good right now on both ends. And another factor for the Knicks here, since I feel like we've been talking about the Heat a lot, rightfully so, is Brunson had to play a ton. Quickly was hurt, didn't play in this game, which was a big part of this. So he needed to play Brunson more. He played almost 45 minutes via 5 fouls, so he had to play a little, I don't even know what to call it, skittishly, not as aggressive on the defensive end. Randall also fouled out. Max Strus had to play to get him out of there. And Randall was cooking with his shooting at earlier portions of this game. So foul trouble, a big factor here for the Knicks as well, and the way they were able to defend. I don't know what they can do to get more of a first offensive punch outside of Brunson being a little bit more efficient, because if they're not going to be this offensive glass team that you kind of talked about, they don't really have a ton of ways to out offense the Heat in this series.
Yeah. It's going to sound like most of my stuff is pointed at like discrediting the Knicks. And don't get me wrong, it is. But I also want to say that like there's absolutely no, like, if you're a Heat fan and you're like, oh, so you don't think we have any chance? I'm like, no, you could definitely, like, you could win the conference finals. You can win the finals. Nothing. It's not like I can look back and go like, well, you have to understand who the Heat were earlier. It doesn't matter. It does not. Like the regular season, we are so far. Like the regular season doesn't even exist. What does it mean? Nothing the Heat did in the regular season means anything. All it is about how they're playing right now, about how Jimmy's playing right now, whether Spo can find enough answers. It's incredible how they're doing this now. I do think that they got a good lie. Like what's really ironic is if they lose that, if they win that game versus the Hawks in the play-in, they're probably home.
Yeah.
Like Boston probably squashes them before they get any momentum, but they didn't. And they face a Bucks team that, like, I've written a lot about this year. There were cracks under the surface with the Bucks, and they exposed them. And then they got this Knicks team. And, like, I'll be real clear. If it was the Cavs, we'd be looking at the same deal. It would still be 3-1 Cavs. Like, it would absolutely 3-1 Heat over Cavs. That's absolutely what will be going on. But, yeah, we'll see.
The regular season doesn't matter is what you're saying, right? So the Clippers are vindicated. That is what I'm hearing from this conversation.
Yes. The right approach. They do not need to respect the regular season more. All right. On the other side, we'll talk about the decision from the NBA regarding Nikola Jokic's availability in Game 5 of their Western Conference semifinal series versus the Phoenix Suns. And we're going to go over the all rookie teams. We'll do that when we return here on Locked On NBA. But first, I need to tell you about PrizePicks and let you know that they're hosting a $1 million daily Superflex promotion throughout the NBA playoffs all the way through the finals. Every day of the NBA playoffs and finals, one PrizePicks user will win a chance at becoming a millionaire. One entry placed after 8 a.m. Eastern will be randomly selected each day, and whoever places that entry will be given a 6-pick flex with the following payouts. If you get all 6 correct, that's $1 million. That is 1/7,000th of what Matt Ishbia has. So just keep that in mind. 5 correct picks equals 80,000, and 4 correct picks equals $16,000. Full details can be found at prizepicks.com/million. You must opt in at this link to be eligible for the $1 million entry at prizepicks.com/million. Once you opt in, all you have to do is play the game like normal, and you could be the lucky winner. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up today and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code LOCKEDON. Don't forget to enter promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. We'll be right back on Locked On NBA. Back here on Locked On NBA, thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Matt Moore alongside Tony East breaking down the NBA playoffs for you. We've gone through the 2 games that were played on Monday night. Let's talk about the big decision from Monday as the NBA announced first Adrian Wojnarowski and then in a simple fine announcement that was released in a presser that Nikola Jokic will not be suspended for his vicious hit on Matt Ishbia in Game 4 of Suns Nuggets. So I cover the Nuggets for Locked On Nuggets. I'm not a Nuggets fan. I'm a transplant. I've not been a Nuggets fan. Will never be a Nuggets fan. I just cover the team. What I will say is that, like, I'm thankful for the league that we've moved to a place where the disaster that happened in 2007 with Amari Stoudemire and Boris Diaw being suspended did not occur. Like, there's no reason for in that incident. It wasn't escalated. There wasn't a series. It wasn't a kerfuffle. There wasn't brouhaha. None of those words were applicable in the situation. And I want to credit Matt Ishbia for coming out on Twitter and saying, I don't want him suspended. That was absolutely the right move by Ishbia. He's new to the league. He's only been in charge for like 3 months. He's only on the team for like 3 months. It's really great for him to be like, it's not that big of a deal. That's how everyone should have been. It's not that big of a deal. The NBA, I was concerned, might suspend Jokic because they are understandably, after the Malice in the Palace, a little touchy whenever there's interaction between the fans and players physically. I think Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets were, as players always are, overly touchy about any time that a fan is grabbing at a player, touching, shoving, whatever. Players get really worked up about it. That's not they're in the course of a game and they're really intense. I think it's totally fine. I think this entire incident is okay. Nuggets fans are upset because they're like, why didn't Ishbia get fined? Jokic got fined. First of all, Nikola Jokic makes $35 million a year. He's going to be fine. And the reason they didn't fine Matt Ishbia is because he doesn't have small enough bills to pay $25,000. He's worth $7 billion. Why do you care if he gets dinged at $25,000? That's that's not even pocket change. That's the console in the car underneath the gum. That's that amount of money for him. I don't care about the money. You shouldn't either. This was a good result by the NBA, Tony.
This storyline sucks. It's just I hate it. I agree. When I saw that Ishbia tweeted like he should not be suspended, I was like, that's it, right? Like, I even think Jokic, if you would be as honest as possible, would say like, yeah, this is stupid. Like, I don't think he knew in the moment it was him. I don't know that for sure. And
he didn't.
Fans shouldn't be holding the ball too long, regardless of who it is. Like, it's just dumb. Like, I cover the Pacers, so obviously Mouse in the Palace is a part of the team's history. But this year, a big part of their identity was when the ball went in the crowd, they want to run in transition, so they'd run and get it from the fan as fast as possible so they could inbound the ball immediately and play like it was part of the way they wanted to play the sport. Like, you got to keep it moving. So I get the frustration there. Also, maybe don't shove people who don't oblige because, there's a lot of just like, this is stupid. So it was stupid. And I'm glad the NBA realized that it's stupid and didn't make it bigger than it needed to be. I think every party involved, Nuggets, Suns, Ishbia, Jokic, was like, yep, we probably should have done it the way we did. And that's it. And I don't think that if that happened with a non-owner fan, Jokic would have been suspended. So I think that's also a factor here. So this is the right outcome. 100%. And it's great for me because now I get to watch Nikola Jokic play again in Game 5 tonight.
Could be an absolutely massive game in Denver. I'll be at that one and have the reaction for you on Locked On Nuggets. Okay, Tony, you joked about this, but I am going to.
Can we talk about that game for a second? Can we talk about that game for 1 second?
Hit me.
I feel like the Nuggets have this. Like, I thought they played really well in game 4 and just needed Michael Porter Jr. to be better than Landry Shamet, and they would have had it. But at the same time, I understand momentum's a thing, and Devin Booker is the Terminator right now. So I wonder what adjustments the Nuggets can make to slow Booker down. But also, is it just simple as like Michael Porter hit 2 more threes and we win? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I like the Suns. I'll be honest with you.
Are they better without Chris Paul? Is that another question worth asking right now?
Yeah. So there's two significant changes that happened in the series. Benching Chris Paul got them into campaign minutes with the starters, which allows them to play faster, which helps Booker and KD and that offense get going versus a pretty good Nuggets defense in the first 2 games. They have killed the Nuggets in transition. It's the Nuggets' biggest weakness. So Chris Paul being out helped the Suns. It just did. Like, Chris wasn't hitting shots. Chris wasn't doing much. Chris wasn't strong on defense. Chris wasn't like that. Like, he started to hit some shots before the injury, but not enough to where you're like, this is great. Campaign has been what they needed. They've pushed the pace. It has allowed them, like, then there's the other thing, which is Monty has gone to other guys. It took Monty Williams, 2 games to realize I can't play Bismack Biyombo in the series. It's only Jock Landale. That's it. And Jock Landale has been, I'm not kidding, the 3rd most important player in the series for the Phoenix Suns. It's Devin Booker, then Kevin Durant, and then Jock Landale. That's it. Like, the Ayton minutes, even when Ayton plays well, they get killed in his minutes. They win the Landale minutes. They win the Landale minutes versus Jokic. Like, they're winning those minutes. His effort on rebounding and his rim running is exactly what they need, and he's helped turn this series. Going to Terrence Ross and TJ Warren has put enough pressure on. Monty has made tactical adjustments with playing a lot more empty side pick and roll, where they're overloading the other side with shooters. And Devin Booker's gotten a lot better about stringing plays out and then making the skip pass, which he did not want to do in games 1 and 2. There are adjustments Denver can make, but they're not good ones. And there are other guys that Denver can go to. I expect to see Peyton Watson a little bit in this one. That's a really big gamble for a guy that honestly was in the G League a lot this year and is very raw. And mistakes can kill you in a playoff series. The answer, like, everyone's kind of like, well, the Nuggets will shoot better at home in game 5. I think that the role players shoot better at home thing works in games 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I think once you get to game 5, like, this is a lot more pressure and it's a lot more intense and you're a lot more tired. And so I kind of think the Suns are advancing towards beating the Nuggets and advancing to the Western Conference Finals. I do not have a lot of faith in their offensive process right now because Jamal Murray is spamming pick and roll so much. So that's my concern, but I like your confidence in them heading into game 5.
I don't even want to say Nuggets shoot better. Just shoot more. 22 threes is fewer threes than the Suns should not be a thing.
I think
that happens, but we'll see. And as a Pacers coverage person, I'm also happy to see TJ Warren doing well. Continue with your separate things.
Okay. The NBA All Rookie Report was rookie teams were announced on Monday. Paolo Banchero, no surprise, led with a full 100 stack unanimous selection. Jalen Williams goes for 99. I'm assuming that the other vote for the other Jalen Williams probably was because of someone, thinking.
No, confirmed by Locked On's own Howard Beck that the J-Dub and J-Will first team voter was the same person.
Wow.
So someone actually put J-Dub on second team. That's insane. Anyway.
Okay. Walker Kessler, Keegan Murray, Benedict Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers. Second team, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Jabari Smith Jr. from Houston, Jeremy Sohan from the San Antonio Spurs, and Tari Eason from the Houston Rockets. Andrew Nembhard was the first runner up in receiving 46 points to 47 for Tari Eason. Tony, I will cede the floor to you.
I made Matt give me 3 seconds to talk about this. Look, Nembhard was the second in assists amongst all rookies. Started 65 times this season. Was one of the best defenders for all rookies in the league. Had the 11th highest defensive matchups in the league throughout the season, according to B-Ball Index matchup rating. Kid can defend. Kid can pass. He's really good. And I don't know who I'd take off in his spot, but man, there were times he was like a positive good player, not a good rookie. I thought he was almost a lock to make the second team. He got more votes than Eason, but less first place votes, which sunk him. I think people need to watch him. He's very good. Although all 10 guys who made it are really good. This is a pretty good rookie class.
He is really good. Like, if you're listening to the show,
he's really good.
Really
I think
good.
Halliburton being on his team, he doesn't have the balls. People don't know who he is, but he is really good.
He's really good. And if you're listening to the show, you probably know who he is. But if you don't, like, go check out the Pacers next year. They are really fun, and Nembhard is really good. This is, even for me, this is a bit of a deep dive when we're into the other receiving votes on the all rookie team.
Yeah, we're good. I just wanted to talk about that.
I will say, for me, the one guy that I think I think it's fine. I don't think he was better than the guys above him. AJ Griffin, probably.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is the guy that I think probably could have gotten, like, if the Hawks weren't the Hawks for any number of reasons, Nick McMillan, their entire team construct, how they approach pretty much everything. Like, AJ Griffin's going to be really good in this league, and he was awesome.
Yeah,
and good. I think he should have played more. And had he played more, he probably winds up on this list. He probably makes a team. So AJ Griffin is the guy that I'm going to say was the not the snub, because I think it's fine that he wasn't selected, but instead of the voters snubbing him, the Hawks snubbed AJ Griffin.
I'm cheating too. Like I'm not calling Nembhard a snub because that means I have to take off someone, and I'm like, I think the top 10 are all pretty good. I don't want to remove one. Tari Eason, I like Tari Eason. He's good too. I don't know.
I'll say this: like, the top 7 are locks.
Oh yeah.
But then, like, once you get into Jabari, who had some really good games late,
he's a lock to me.
And like, it's not Jabari's fault that he plays with Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr., but he plays with those guys, and so, like, that takes away a little bit of what you can do. Sorry, it's like an ongoing bit on the Tuesday show that we have to take a dig at the Rockets, and Jalen Green in particular. It's just like David's not here, so I got to take care of business. And then, like, Tari Eason was really good, but I don't know. I think Nembhard probably deserved it. But yeah, we are deep in the weeds. Thanks to you if you're listening to our deep dive discussion of the second team all rookie selections. His name's Tony East. You can find him on Twitter at Tony R East. I'm on Twitter at HP Basketball. You can catch his show on Locked On Pacers every day. You can catch me on Locked On Nuggets every day. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. Tomorrow, John Corrales, Jake Madison will be back with you covering. I don't know if John will be on. Jake Madison, somebody will be on covering Celtics Sixers as the Celtics try and get back control of that series, and the Denver Nuggets and Phoenix Suns play pivotal game 5. We'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on Locked On NBA.